To health experts, AMR occurs when microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, and fungi evolve to resist the effects of antimicrobial drugs, making them less effective or ineffective. The resistance can lead to prolonged illness, increased mortality, higher healthcare costs, reduced effectiveness of medical procedures, and economic burden. The World Health Organization has projected that the global economic cost of antimicrobial resistance could be as high as $1 trillion in additional healthcare costs by 2050 and $1 trillion to $3.4 trillion in gross domestic product (GDP) losses per year by 2030. And like the Boy Scout motto, the Nigerian government says it is prepared before the AMR stings with venom by inaugurating the National Task Force on Antimicrobial Resistance Stewardship. The Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare says the inauguration marks the beginning of a coordinated and strategic response by the federal government to tackle the problem for the first time.
Antimicrobial resistance is a huge problem. If we don't begin to tackle it immediately and quickly, we could end up with a health problem that is bigger than COVID-19.
The country director of the World Health Organization believes that the decision by Nigeria on the AMR task force is a right step that will reduce mortality and stabilize the GDP of the country.
Globally, now there are studies that if we don't have a strong response, at least 1.8 years of life expectancy will be lost. And there is a 1 trillion loss due to healthcare cost, the delayed hospital admissions, the high cost of medicines, the serious side effects of medicines which are not supposed to be used to treat common infections. There are a lot of issues related to this. So I think if we really don't take it strongly and seriously, we will end up in even reducing the GDP of the country by 1 to 3%. So that's how the lower and middle economic countries will be affected.
The national coordinator and chairman of the AMR National Task Force describes the work at hand as a collective responsibility.
People are dying associated with this. So that is what the problem is. And it's not a case of non-adherence. It's a case of we don't have information. We don't know what we have. And there's been surveillance going on in different parts of the country. There have been agencies that have been helping. NCDC has been remarkable. Our development partners have been great. But we don't have all the information together so that anybody who is looking at a resistant organism, for instance, in Lagos, can assess that, well, this is what has been going on in this area. So if I'm going to treat somebody, I'm going to focus on this bacteria.
The implications of AMR are enormous. Stakeholders agree that addressing the dangers requires a multifaceted approach, including improved antimicrobial stewardship, enhanced infection prevention, development of new antimicrobials, and international collaboration and surveillance.